Rain slammed against the city streets, turning them into slick mirrors of neon and shadow. Amelia ran, her soaked coat clinging to her, boots splashing through puddles as every nerve screamed that she was being followed. She was an Omega, a weak, vulnerable wolf by nature, and alone. She was prey for anyone daring enough to hunt her. But tonight, she wasn't just running from the shadows. She was running toward something she didn't yet understand, a force that tugged at her chest and stirred a longing she had buried deep. From the darkness, a figure emerged, towering, majestic, dangerous, the Alpha King himself. His golden eyes burned like molten gold, locking onto her with a gaze that both terrified and electrified her. Every story she'd ever heard about him, the power, the ruthlessness, the legends of wolves who disappeared at his command, flashed through her mind. "You're far from home, little Omega," he said, voice low, rough, and impossibly magnetic. "And yet I've been waiting for you." Amelia froze. Her heart pounded. This was no ordinary encounter. This was the night that would change everything, the night she would either survive or surrender, and the Alpha King would claim more than her body. He would claim her fate. The rain fell in heavy, glittering sheets, washing the city streets in silver reflections. Amelia's boots splashed through puddles as she hurried down the dimly lit alley, clutching her coat tightly around her thin frame. She was an Omega, one of the lowest-ranking wolves, vulnerable and hunted, and tonight was a night she would never forget. Her breath came in ragged gasps. Every instinct screamed that she was being followed. She had heard stories, Omega wolves disappearing in the night, claimed by alpha packs and never seen again. She had survived so far by blending in, by being invisible. But tonight, invisibility might not save her. From the shadows, a figure emerged, massive and commanding. The air shifted as he stepped closer, the scent of pine, musk, and power hit her like a physical blow. He was an Alpha King, the one no wolf dared defy, and yet his eyes, golden molten, fierce, were fixed on her. "You're far from home, little Omega," he said, his voice low, like gravel sliding over velvet. "Do you know what happens to wolves who wander into my city unprotected?" Amelia's heart thudded against her ribs. She tried to retreat, but the alley ended in a brick wall. There was nowhere to run. And yet, there was something magnetic in his presence, a pull that made her knees weak despite the terror curling in her stomach. I didn't mean to," she stammered. He stepped closer, his shadow enveloping her. "I sense your fear," he murmured. "But fear can be corrected." Her stomach twisted. He was dangerous, lethal, and irresistible all at once. And she knew the legends, those who survived an alpha's attention often didn't remain the same. "You'll do exactly as I say tonight," he continued, tilting his head as if studying her very soul. "If you endure the night in my bed, Omega, I'll set you free. But if you fail, you will belong to me forever." Amelia's heart stopped, free or bound for eternity. Her mind screamed to run, but the warmth radiating from him, the raw, animal magnetism, rooted her to the spot. "Come," he commanded, turning on his heel. "There is no time to hesitate." She followed, trembling, as he led her to his lair, a towering manor hidden deep in the misty forest beyond the city. Every step she took was a step into the unknown, a dangerous night that would change her life forever. The grand door creaked open, revealing a room bathed in soft amber light, shadows dancing along the walls. His gaze never left her, a silent warning and a promise wrapped together. "You will spend the night here," he said, gesturing to the massive bed adorned with silks and furs. "Endure it, Omega. Survive it and you will walk out alive. Fail, and you will learn what it truly means to belong to an alpha." Her pulse raced. The night stretched before her like a living thing, full of peril and desire, fear and temptation. She wanted to resist. She wanted to flee. But something deep inside her, the part that longed to be claimed, to be protected, to be wanted, quivered in anticipation. And as he stepped closer, the air between them crackling with heat and danger, Amelia realized there would be no turning back. Tonight, she would discover the depths of desire, power, and submission, and the Alpha King was going to teach her every lesson. The room was silent, save for the crackle of the fireplace casting golden light across the walls. Amelia stood frozen near the door, her heart hammering against her ribs like a caged animal. The Alpha King's presence filled the space, every inch of it heavy, commanding, and intoxicating. He watched her with an intensity that made her skin tingle, his golden eyes never blinking, never wavering. "Do you understand the rules, Omega?" His voice was low, a growl that reverberated deep in her chest. "I think so," she whispered, though her mind was a storm of fear, anticipation, and something she dared not name. He stepped closer, each movement deliberate, like a predator circling its prey. His shadow engulfed her, warm and suffocating, and she shivered not from cold, but from the raw magnetism emanating from him. "You belong to the night now," he murmured. "For one night you are mine, and you will learn to endure, to surrender, and perhaps to desire." The words ignited something deep within her, a blend of curiosity and panic. She had never felt such a pull, such an intense, almost violent attraction. Her pulse raced, every nerve alive, trembling with both fear and a forbidden longing. He extended a hand, not touching her yet, but close enough that the heat from his body brushed against her. "Come closer," he commanded, his tone leaving no room for refusal. Her legs shook, but she obeyed, drawn forward by a force she could not resist. The moment their eyes met, a shiver ran down her spine, a mix of awe, terror, and something dangerously sweet. "Good," he said softly, leaning in, his voice brushing against her ear. "No, you will feel what it means to be in my presence, Omega. Every breath, every heartbeat you will feel me, and you will endure." He circled her slowly, hands never touching, yet every motion sent sparks across her skin. The air itself seemed to vibrate with the tension between them, sharp, electric, undeniable. Amelia's mind screamed to resist, to flee, but her body betrayed her. Every instinct, every hidden desire pressed forward. She wanted to run, yes, but a part of her ached to stay, to feel the Alpha King's presence in every fiber of her being. Finally he stopped, close enough that their breaths mingled. "Tonight," he whispered, "you will learn that surrender is not weakness. It is power, and if you endure you will be free. But know this." He leaned in, and she caught the scent of him, wild, intoxicating, utterly alpha. "If you fail, Omega, you will belong to me forever. And I do not forgive weakness." Amelia swallowed hard, trembling, heart racing. The firelight flickered across his face, highlighting the sharp lines of his jaw, the raw strength in his body, the lethal beauty of an alpha who had claimed everything he desired. Her mind spun with fear, anticipation, and an unfamiliar heat rising in her chest. This night was dangerous, yes, but it was also awakening something she had buried deep within herself, a longing to be wanted, to be protected, to be claimed. And as he finally reached out, brushing a fingertip along her jawline, Amelia knew that this night would change her forever. The Alpha King was testing her, and she would either endure the night in his bed, or lose herself entirely. The firelight danced across the walls, flickering shadows that mirrored the storm raging inside Amelia. Her pulse thundered in her ears, her body alive with a mixture of fear and a heat she had never known. The Alpha King stood before her, an unyielding force of power and desire, yet there was something in his gaze, a flicker of something softer, something reserved only for her. "You feel it, don't you?" he murmured, his voice low and commanding, sending shivers down her spine. "The pull, the bond, it's stronger than fear, stronger than hesitation. It's us, Omega, me and you." Amelia's breath hitched. She had felt it, a tug deep in her chest, a warmth that spread like fire through her veins whenever he came near. But the Alpha King's words confirmed it. This was no ordinary encounter. She was his fated mate, and the bond was awakening tonight. I don't know if I can," she whispered, her voice trembling. "You can," he interrupted, stepping closer until the heat from his body pressed against hers. "You already are, whether you admit it or not. Your body knows, your heart knows, and soon your soul will know." He cupped her face gently, a sharp contrast to his immense strength. His thumb traced along her jaw, and Amelia's knees weakened. Every nerve in her body seemed to ignite under his touch. Her fear and desire collided, and for the first time, she did not want to run. "You must endure, Omega," he continued, his lips hovering near hers, close enough that she could feel his breath. "Endure the night in my bed. Feel me and you will survive. But if you resist the bond..." He trailed off, letting the words hang in the thick, electric air. Amelia's mind spun. Survive or surrender. The choice was terrifying, but the thought of surrendering to him, it made something deep inside her ache with longing. The Alpha King leaned in, brushing his lips against her temple. The touch was feathered light, yet it sent a shock through her body, awakening sensations she had never known. She shivered, trembling in his arms, caught between the need to resist and the desire to melt into him completely. "You're mine tonight," he whispered, his voice rough with emotion. "And by the dawn, you will either endure or you will know what it truly means to belong to me." Slowly, deliberately, he guided her toward the bed. The silks and furs beneath them seemed to shimmer in the firelight, a soft sanctuary amid the storm of desire and fear. He pressed her back gently but firmly, his body looming over hers, radiating warmth and power. Amelia's heartbeat raced, her mind swirling with everything she had ever feared and longed for. She felt it now, the pull of the fated mate bond wrapping around her heart like a living thing, tethering her to him in ways she could not resist. He lowered his lips to hers in a kiss that was at once commanding and tender, fierce yet intimate. It was a taste of danger, a brush with fire, and Amelia felt herself surrendering, letting the bond pull her into him. Every touch, every breath, every heartbeat connected them. The Alpha King's hand traced her spine, eliciting gasps and shivers, while the bond pulsed between them, deepening with each second. Fear and desire merged until they were inseparable, and Amelia realized with a tremor of awe that this night was more than endurance, it was awakening. And in that moment, as the firelight flickered and shadows danced around them, the bond between Alpha and Omega ignited fully, promising a night that neither of them would ever forget. The night deepened, thick and heavy, wrapping the manor in shadows and the scent of rain-drenched pine. Amelia lay beneath the soft furs, her body trembling, her heart a frantic drum beat that matched the wild rhythm of the Alpha King's presence above her. He traced a finger along her collarbone slowly, deliberately, and Amelia shivered at the contact, every nerve alive. The pull of the fated mate bond between them throbbed like a heartbeat she could feel in her chest. Every pulse connected them, drawing her closer into him, closer to surrender, closer to something she both feared and craved. "You don't have to be afraid of me, Omega," he murmured, his voice low, gravelly, yet soothing. "Tonight you'll see that submission is not weakness. You'll see that it can be liberation." Amelia's lips parted, her breath shallow, the words caught somewhere between desire and terror. She could feel the heat radiating from him, the tension coiling like a spring. Her body ached to respond, yet her mind fought the surrender. He leaned down, capturing her lips in a kiss that was both commanding and tender, melting the last of her resistance. His hands moved with a precision born of instinct and dominance, mapping her body, drawing her closer. Every touch was deliberate, igniting a fire she could not extinguish. "You're mine tonight," he whispered between kisses, "and the bond will bind you in ways you can't yet imagine. But endure and you will survive, resist and the bond will consume you." Amelia's heart raced. She wanted to resist, to flee, but the pull was too strong. Her Omega instincts, her longing to be protected, to be claimed, overrode every fear. She gasped as his hands cupped her face, drawing her gaze to his golden eyes, molten with power and something softer, almost aching. "You're not just an Omega to me," he murmured. "You're my mate, my fated mate. And I've waited for you longer than you can imagine." The words hit her like a thunderclap, mingling with the rising heat between them. A shiver ran through her body as the bond pulsed, a living, breathing force linking them in ways that transcended fear, desire, and even logic. Slowly, deliberately, he guided her into the center of the bed, his body pressing over hers. The firelight played across their entwined forms, shadows dancing over every curve, every line of muscle, every shiver of anticipation. "You will feel me, Amelia," he whispered, brushing his lips along her jaw, her neck, sending sparks of sensation through her. "You will endure the night, and by dawn, you will know what it means to belong to me completely." Her breath caught. The intensity of his presence, the weight of his dominance, the undeniable pull of their bond, it was overwhelming. And yet, amidst the fear, she felt something unfamiliar but thrilling: trust. Trust in him, trust in the bond, trust in the night that was theirs alone. With a growl that vibrated through his chest, He claimed her once more in a kiss that was fierce, possessive, and intoxicating. The bond pulsed, alive and demanding, entwining their souls as much as their bodies. Every shiver, every gasp, every touch deepened it, sealing their fates together. For the first time, Amelia understood the truth of his words. Endurance was not just survival. It was awakening. And as the Alpha King held her close, she felt the night stretch endlessly before them, full of fire, desire, and a bond that would never break. The Alpha's secrets and the ultimate surrender. The storm outside raged, lightning slicing across the sky, thunder shaking the manor's walls. Inside, the heat was different, an inferno ignited by the bond between Amelia and the Alpha King. The firelight flickered across his sharp features, highlighting the raw power and dangerous beauty that had drawn her in from the first moment. "You feel it too, don't you?" he murmured, voice rough, deep, vibrating against her very soul. "The bond, it's alive. It's demanding you, claiming you." Amelia's pulse raced, every nerve trembling. I can't, I don't know if I can." "You can," he interrupted, his hand brushing a strand of wet hair from her face. "Your body knows already, Amelia. Your soul knows. The bond doesn't lie." Her breath hitched as he leaned closer, his golden eyes locking with hers, a storm of fire, desire, and unspoken promise swirling in their depths. "I've waited for you, Omega," he whispered, his lips brushing her temple. "Longer than I thought I would live. Longer than any Alpha should ever have to wait." The words struck her with the force of lightning. A swell of emotion, fear, longing, awe, and undeniable desire crashed over her. Every inch of her body ached for him, yet her mind still fought the surrender, torn between caution and the pull of their fated bond. He pressed closer, his body heat enveloping her, a living barrier against the storm outside. "Tonight, Amelia, you will learn the truth of what it means to be mine. Endure and you will survive. Resist and you will wish you had surrendered sooner." With deliberate patience, he guided her hand to his chest, letting her feel the powerful beat of his heart, strong, steady, demanding. "This is your warning and your promise," he said. "I will protect you. I will claim you, and I will never let go." Amelia's knees weakened. The fear, the tension, and the burgeoning desire all collided, leaving her dizzy. Every fiber of her being screamed surrender, yet her mind struggled with the enormity of the moment. The Alpha King tilted his head, brushing his lips against her in a kiss that was at once gentle and commanding. Sparks ignited through her veins, the bond pulsing between them, tugging, claiming, binding them together in ways she could neither resist nor comprehend. "You're mine," he growled softly, his hands tracing the curves of her body, mapping, claiming, guiding. "Fully, completely, and by dawn you will know that there is no other place you belong but here, with me." The fated mate bond surged, hot and insistent, threading through their hearts, souls, and bodies. Amelia gasped, trembling as the force of it pressed against her chest. She felt the Alpha King's emotions, his hunger, his longing, his centuries of loneliness, and in that instant, she understood he had waited for her. And she had been waiting for him without knowing it. The storm outside seemed to pale against the fire consuming them inside. Lightning flashed, thunder roared, but neither mattered. There was only him, only the bond, only the heat, and the overwhelming, undeniable truth that she was no longer merely surviving the night, she was embracing it, surrendering to it, becoming a part of something far larger and more powerful than herself. And as the first threads of dawn began to touch the sky, Amelia realized that endurance had transformed into desire, fear had blossomed into trust, and surrender had become liberation. She was his mate, his fated Omega, and nothing, neither storm nor shadow nor hesitation would ever change that.